Shirley MacLaine is one of the most famous actresses in Hollywood history. For decades, audiences admired her talent, confidence, and fearless personality. She was known for her unforgettable performances in films, her unique beliefs, and her ability to stay relevant in the entertainment industry for more than 60 years. However, behind the glamorous Hollywood image was a deeply complicated personal life that often became the center of public attention. One of the most controversial parts of her story was her difficult relationship with her daughter, Sachi Parker. Over the years, many people became shocked after hearing Sachi describe her mother as emotionally distant and neglectful. The accusations created headlines around the world and caused many fans to question whether Shirley MacLaine's success came at the cost of her family life. While some defended the actress and praised her honesty about her unconventional lifestyle, others believed that her daughter's painful memories revealed a darker side of fame and ambition. The story became even more emotional because it involved a mother and daughter who both seemed to want love and understanding, but struggled to connect with each other. Their relationship slowly turned into one of Hollywood's most talked about family conflicts. Even today, people remain divided about who was truly right or wrong. Some believe Shirley MacLaine simply lived life on her own terms and refused to follow traditional expectations, while others feel her choices deeply hurt her daughter during important years of her childhood. No matter which side people support, there is no denying that the story is emotional, dramatic, and filled with heartbreak. It also raises an important question that many people still ask today. Can a person become a legendary star while also being fully present as a parent? For Shirley MacLaine, that question followed her throughout her life and career, becoming a major part of her public image long after she became a Hollywood icon. Shirley MacLaine was born in 1934 in Richmond, Virginia, into a family that already loved performing arts and entertainment. Her mother was a drama teacher, and her father dreamed of becoming part of the circus world. From an early age, Shirley seemed naturally drawn toward performing. Dancing and acting quickly became important parts of her life, and she spent much of her childhood dreaming about the stage. She also shared a close bond with her younger brother Warren Beatty, who would later become one of Hollywood's biggest actors himself. Although they loved each other deeply, Shirley later admitted that both siblings quietly competed for their parents' attention and approval. During her teenage years, Shirley became serious about pursuing a career in entertainment. After finishing high school, she moved toward Broadway, where she joined the chorus of the musical Oklahoma. That opportunity changed her life completely because it helped her realize that acting was more than just a dream. It was the future she truly wanted. Her big breakthrough came in 1954 during a performance of The Pajama Game. When the lead actress injured her ankle, Shirley stepped into the starring role as an understudy. By pure luck, a film producer named Hal Wallace was in the audience that night. He immediately noticed Shirley's talent and offered her a contract with Paramount Pictures. Soon after, she made her film debut in Alfred Hitchcock's The Trouble with Harry. Even though the movie itself was not a huge success, Shirley stood out to audiences and critics. She quickly became known for her charm, intelligence, and unusual screen presence. Hollywood saw her as fresh and different from many other actresses at the time. Awards and nominations followed, and her rise to fame happened surprisingly fast. However, while her career was growing stronger every year, the pressure of Hollywood also became more intense. She faced criticism about her appearance, her weight, and even her personal choices. These early experiences taught Shirley how demanding fame could be, and they helped shape the independent personality that later defined both her public image and her personal relationships. As Shirley MacLaine's fame continued to rise, her personal life also became more complicated. At only 18 years old, she met businessman Steve Parker and quickly fell in love. The couple married in 1954, and to outsiders they seemed to have a happy and glamorous relationship. Shirley often described Steve as a companion and someone who understood her ambitions. However, their marriage was far from traditional. Shirley openly admitted that she never fully believed in monogamy or strict marital rules. She believed people should have freedom in relationships and often spoke honestly about her unconventional views on love. Together, she and Steve agreed to maintain an open marriage, something that shocked many people during that time period. Although they stayed married for nearly 3 decades, Their relationship faced many difficulties behind closed doors. At one point, Shirley discovered that Steve had been secretly transferring her money into another woman's account. Even though many people expected her to react with anger, Shirley surprisingly defended him and tried to justify his actions. Still, the betrayal damaged their relationship deeply. During these years, Shirley's career remained her main focus. She worked constantly in films, television, and theater productions, becoming one of Hollywood's busiest stars. In 1956, Shirley and Steve welcomed their daughter, Stephanie, later known as Sachi Parker. At first, becoming a mother brought Shirley happiness and excitement. However, balancing motherhood with an intense Hollywood career soon became extremely difficult. Shirley believed that raising a child away from Hollywood would provide a healthier environment, so the family eventually moved to Japan. Unfortunately, this decision created even greater distance between Shirley and her daughter. Because Shirley needed to continue working in America, she often stayed in Hollywood, while Sachi remained overseas with her father. Over time, the separation became painful for both mother and daughter. Shirley later described herself as a hands-on mother for that era, but Sachi's memories would later tell a very different story. The emotional distance created during those early years slowly grew into resentment and sadness, eventually becoming one of the most controversial parts of Shirley MacLaine's life. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, Shirley MacLaine became one of the biggest and most respected actresses in Hollywood. She starred in successful films, earned Academy Award nominations, and gained a reputation as a fearless performer willing to take on difficult roles. Her performances in movies like Some Came Running, The Apartment, and Irma La Douse proved that she had both talent and versatility. Directors admired her commitment to acting, and audiences loved her bold personality. Shirley often worked harder than many people around her realized. For one film role, involving a Parisian sex worker, she even traveled to France to speak with real women who worked in that profession. She believed deeply in understanding her characters completely before portraying them on screen. At the same time, Shirley also developed a reputation for being outspoken and difficult to control. Unlike many actresses during that era, she challenged powerful Hollywood producers and refused to stay silent when treated unfairly. She famously fought legal battles against major studios after they violated agreements with her. One of her lawsuits became so important that it was later studied in law schools as an example of employment contract rights. Shirley's confidence and refusal to accept bad treatment made her both admired and feared in Hollywood circles. However, while her professional life was thriving, her personal life remained unstable. Her marriage continued to struggle, and her relationship with her daughter became increasingly distant. Shirley spent long periods away from home while filming movies around the world. Sachi later claimed that she often felt forgotten and emotionally abandoned during her childhood. According to her memoir, there were moments when both her parents seemed too busy to prioritize her needs. One painful memory involved being left alone during Christmas while studying in Europe. Stories like these shocked many readers because they revealed a much sadder picture behind Shirley's glamorous public image. Still, some people defended Shirley by arguing that many successful actors during that time lived similarly demanding lifestyles. Others believed Shirley's honesty about her independence simply clashed with society's expectations of motherhood. Regardless of the debate, it became clear that her success in Hollywood had come with serious emotional costs inside her family life. Another reason Shirley MacLaine remained constantly in the headlines was her unusual personality and spiritual beliefs. Unlike many celebrities who carefully protected their public image, Shirley openly discussed subjects that many people considered strange or controversial. She became deeply interested in spirituality, reincarnation, metaphysics, and past lives. Over the years, she wrote several books describing her beliefs and personal experiences. Shirley claimed that souls could return in different forms across many lifetimes, and even suggested that she herself had lived multiple past lives in different countries and historical periods. Some people found her ideas fascinating and admired her courage for speaking openly, while others mocked her and viewed her beliefs as bizarre. However, Shirley never seemed worried about criticism. She embraced her individuality completely and refused to change herself to satisfy public opinion. Her bold attitude extended beyond spirituality into her professional relationships as well. Several co-stars admitted that working with her could be difficult because she was highly opinionated and demanding. Shirley herself never denied being strong-willed. She often clashed with actors and directors who disagreed with her approach. One famous example involved actress Deborah Winger during the filming of Terms of Endearment. Reports from the set described constant tension between the two actresses. Shirley also reportedly had a poor relationship with actor Anthony Hopkins, who later described her negatively in interviews. Despite these conflicts, Shirley continued delivering powerful performances and remained respected for her talent. In 1984, she finally won the Academy Award for Best Actress for Terms of Endearment, a role many critics consider one of the greatest performances of her career. Yet even during moments of professional triumph, problems within her personal life continue growing. Her daughter Sachi increasingly struggled with feelings of rejection and loneliness. While Shirley traveled, filmed movies, attended glamorous events, and explored spiritual journeys, Sachi often felt emotionally disconnected from her mother. These emotional wounds remained hidden from the public for many years, but eventually they would become impossible to ignore. The contrast between Shirley's public success and private family struggles made her story even more dramatic and complicated in the eyes of the public. The relationship between Shirley MacLaine and her daughter became public in a painful way after Sachi Parker released her memoir, Lucky Me, My Life with and Without My Mom, Shirley MacLaine. In the book, Sachi described years of emotional neglect, loneliness, and disappointment. She claimed that her mother was often absent during important moments of her childhood, and that fame always seemed to come before family. According to Sachi, there were times when she felt completely forgotten by both parents. One of the most heartbreaking stories involved her being stranded at boarding school in Switzerland during Christmas because nobody arrived to pick her up. Sachi explained that moments like these deeply affected her self-esteem and emotional well-being. She also claimed that Shirley rarely offered financial support, forcing her to work many jobs just to survive while trying to pursue an acting career of her own. Sachi believed her mother even discouraged her dreams of becoming an actress. The memoir shocked many readers because it presented a side of Shirley MacLaine that audiences had never fully seen before. Some people sympathized deeply with Sachi and believed she was bravely speaking about painful childhood experiences. Others accused her of exploiting her mother's fame for attention and money. Shirley herself strongly rejected many of the claims in the book. She described the memoir as dishonest and insisted that she had always loved her daughter deeply and tried to do what she believed was best. Shirley argued that her parenting choices reflected the realities of her career and the time period in which she lived. Even after years of tension and public disagreement, the emotional complexity between mother and daughter remained clear. Neither seemed completely able to heal the wounds created during Sachi's childhood. Their story became larger than a simple celebrity conflict because many people related to the themes of emotional distance, family misunderstandings, and unmet expectations. Today, Shirley MacLaine remains a legendary figure in entertainment history, admired for her extraordinary talent and fearless personality. At the same time, her relationship with Sachi Parker continues to shape how many people view her legacy. Some see her as an independent woman who refused to sacrifice her identity for society's expectations, while others believe her ambition caused deep pain within her family. In the end, the story of Shirley MacLaine is not just about Hollywood fame. It is also about the difficult balance between personal dreams, public success, and the responsibilities of motherhood. Even as the controversy surrounding Shirley MacLaine's parenting continued to attract attention, many people still could not deny the enormous impact she had on Hollywood and popular culture. By the time she reached the height of her career, Shirley had already become known as one of the most fearless actresses in the entertainment industry. She was never afraid to speak her mind, challenge authority, or live differently from other celebrities. In an era when many actresses carefully protected a perfect public image, Shirley openly discussed subjects that most stars avoided. She talked about relationships, spirituality, politics, aging, and personal freedom, without worrying about criticism. This honesty made her stand out from many of her peers. While some people admired her confidence and intelligence, others viewed her as difficult, strange, or overly rebellious. Still, Shirley seemed comfortable being misunderstood. She often explained that she never wanted to live according to society's expectations. Instead, she believed people should follow their own path even if others disapproved. This attitude helped her survive in an industry that often tried to control women, especially actresses. Hollywood during the 1950s and 1960s could be harsh and unforgiving, with studios attempting to manage every part of a star's life, including appearance, behavior, and personal relationships. Shirley resisted that system from the beginning. When producers criticized her weight or attempted to pressure her into silence, she fought back instead of accepting mistreatment. Her willingness to stand up for herself earned respect from some people inside the industry. At the same time, it also created enemies. Shirley's bold personality sometimes caused tension with co-stars, directors, and studio executives who were not used to women speaking so directly. Yet despite the criticism, her career continued growing stronger. Audiences appreciated her natural charm, emotional depth, and unique screen presence. She proved repeatedly that she could succeed without pretending to be someone else. However, while her professional independence inspired many fans, the same independent spirit may have contributed to the emotional distance inside her family life. Shirley valued freedom deeply, but critics argued that her pursuit of personal freedom sometimes came at the expense of emotional closeness with her daughter. This contradiction became one of the most debated aspects of her life story and continues to shape how people view her today. One of the reasons Shirley MacLaine remained such a fascinating public figure was because her life constantly blurred the line between success and controversy. While many celebrities eventually faded from public attention, Shirley always seemed capable of creating new conversations around herself. Sometimes it was because of her acting work, while other times it involved her personal beliefs or public statements. She became especially famous for her interest in reincarnation and spiritual exploration. Shirley did not simply mention these ideas casually. She fully embraced them and built much of her later public identity around them. In interviews, books, and television appearances, she openly discussed her belief that human souls experience many lifetimes. She claimed to remember details from past lives and believed spiritual growth continued across centuries. Many people consider her ideas unusual, but Shirley remained completely serious and passionate about them. She traveled around the world studying spirituality, meditation, and metaphysical practices. Her books discussing these topics became extremely popular and introduced many readers to ideas they had never considered before. While critics laughed at some of her claims, her fans admired her openness and willingness to explore deeper questions about life and existence. This spiritual side of Shirley also reflected her larger personality. She never seemed satisfied with ordinary